The BBC, once considered a standard bearer of journalism, is in crisis mode.
Mistakes are made, but there's no institutional bias.
Turness and other senior executives stepped down after the leak that critics say shows the UK broadcaster is biased.
While this may have come as a shock to people, it definitely wasn't to Honest Reporting. We've been complaining about the BBC for many years now.
The backbreaker came after an edit in a documentary aired on the network. The memo pointed out separate parts of President Trump's speech on January 6th had been edited to make it appear he was inciting a riot. Here is the BBC edited version, followed by the original clip.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
And I think that the president was deeply concerned by the editing, the purposeful and dishonest editing of his speech that was so clearly fake news. And he rightfully dubbed that term many years ago, and this is a classic example of that.
The BBC chairman apologized, calling the edit an error of judgment. It also prompted a $1 billion lawsuit threat from President Trump and led to the 2 resignations.
In hindsight, we should have acted earlier and taken a more formal position on it, which we've done more recently.
The edit, however, is only part of the story. For months, allegations of bias have risen over the BBC's coverage of Israel's war against Hamas, especially by BBC Arabic.
I think the BBC has really become a propaganda tool for the most radical left and Islamists in the UK. Very sad.
Dr. Charles Asher Small, an expert on the study of anti-Semitism, recently addressed the European Parliament in Brussels on the subject.
Jew hatred is not a parochial problem for the Jewish people or for the state of Israel. It's sort of an early warning system for things that are going awry in society, and that once anti-Semitism, this very potent form of hatred, is unleashed, it knows no bounds.
Researchers, watchdogs, even the Israeli embassy in the UK have flagged BBC Arabic, leading it to issue hundreds of corrections on Gaza stories.
They tried to cover it up before, but I guess the evidence was just too compelling from them to hide it. I do hope that not only the BBC, but many other international media outlets will take a lesson.
According to the leaked memo that started the firestorm, the litany of examples include BBC Main News posting 19 stories about Israeli hostages taken by Hamas on October 7th. On BBC Arabic, there was no mention of hostages. By contrast, each article criticizing Israel on BBC News English was replicated on BBC Arabic.
This is journalists seeking to damage Israel's reputation, knowing facts, knowing they're omitting things, and doing it anyway because they hold a personal animosity towards the state of Israel.
This is the new normalized discourse among the radical left. We call this the Red-Green Alliance. The radical left wants to rid the world of Western influence around the world, and radical Islamists want to destroy the state and any vestiges of Christianity and Judaism and create a caliphate.
The BBC also pulled a high-profile Gaza documentary after reports its Gaza child narrator was the son of a Hamas official.
It took some time for the BBC to actually pull the documentary. We must wonder, how was it that this child was the one that was chosen? You managed to find a boy who's the son of a senior Hamas commander.
After these fumbles, the BBC chair has promised internal reviews, more oversight, and greater transparency to restore trust and credibility, which has taken a hit.
I think the only thing that really forced the BBC into making the kinds of changes to win back that trust would be abolishing the license fee.
O'Donoghue also questions whether the BBC can be trusted to police itself.
There is a systemic problem, and for Turness to say otherwise is simply disingenuous.
In Jerusalem, Petitte, CBN News.